Hello, everyone. We are in the third week of our Bible study. We are moving over into chapter 2 of our book here, The Attentive Life, as you've been seeing it. This was written by the Mr. Leighton Ford, and it's all about paying attention. I hope that you are picking up on that. If not through the book itself, through my reflections on the book, as well as some things that I think are especially important as we're reading the book and going through it. The book is really finally taking form in the way that it sets out to do. I don't know why he made chapter 1 as long as he did. I felt like he packed so much in there. And then all of a sudden in chapter 2, you get this 8-page long chapter or something versus the 35 or whatever it was for the previous chapter. And I may have some of my numbers wrong, but I just know that there was a lot packed into chapter 1 that could have been really spread out throughout the rest of the book. And then this chapter is quite short, but nonetheless, because of that, so will this reflection be quite short as you prepare to read it this week. This week, Leighton Ford chooses to write about the birthing hour. I like how this is stated, the time before time. In the cycle of hours, we have the vigils. This is the first prayer time of each day. This is his first sentence here in chapter 2. This prayer time takes place at 3:20 a.m. 3:20 a.m. If it is a good night for me, I am asleep at 3:20 a.m. I might be tossing and turning, but that's about it. In fact, I think that even some of our earliest wakers would say that 3:20 is quite short for them as well. But this is called the birthing hour. This is the time before time, meaning this is the time that begins before everyone else's time begins. And this is the start of the hours of prayer according to the Benedictine practice, where they will wake up and make their way over to the chapel, and they will begin their first worship time together, prayer time together, as they recognize God who is at work before everyone else and everything else is at work. Even today, when we have things that are going 24/7, most things are shut down at 3:20 a.m. And yet God is at work doing the things that God does. Actually, I was kind of surprised he didn't bring this up, and maybe he does later on in the book. But if you open your Bibles right to the very beginning, and when I say the very beginning, I mean the very beginning, to Genesis chapter 1, I want to remind you of these words, of how it all began. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay. Now the earth, it was formless and it was empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And then on goes the story of creation. The power of God creating from the very beginning is the power of God who can create ex nihilo, is the Greek of how they used to would have talked about. God who created from nothing. Before there was day one, before there was anything for God to create with, God was, and God spoke, and creation began. This is actually the language of kingship back in the ancient Near Eastern literature. Kings were the ones who could speak, and at the king's word, things would be created. This is why there are the pyramids and the Great Sphinx and other old civilizations, because kings spoke and things happened. This sequence of events follows that God, as king, spoke, but creation is born, but all from the imagination and from the creative work and power of God. This is what it means to to pay attention at 3:20 a.m. and to pray during the vigils portion of the day. And I really like this. I like that Leighton Ford talks about walking through prayer labyrinths. I don't know if any of you have ever walked a prayer labyrinth. A lot of people think that it is a maze, but it's really not a maze. It's a prescribed path that is usually in a circle. It takes other shapes as well, but usually it's in a circle, and you make your way in and out. I guess I could do it with the camera. You kind of enter over here and you go around, and then you go in and you go around, and then you walk in and around, and then you might go back up and out again. And the whole time you're praying about finding the center, finding God who's at the middle of all of it, until eventually you end. The one that he talked about is you end in creation. You end in the God who is creator, who begets life. This in and out motion is a reflection of how our faith journeys go. We go in as we feel closer to God, and then we get sent out. And oftentimes as we're out, we find ourselves needing to go back in closer again. That we create practices that are not as healthy or as godly. And so then we correct. We pay penitence, and we say, God, we're sorry, and we reflect on our life, and we begin anew. This is why the vigils starts in this cyclical notion, day by day by day. So as you read today, I say today, this week, about the birthing hour, I want you to think about this time before time. God who is at work at all times and at all places, before you're even conscious of it. Of course, Leighton Ford talks about this birthing hour as the time before one is born, and quotes God who knits us in our womb, and takes care of all of those things. But I want you to think about the work that God is doing and the work that God is preparing for you as you get ready for your days, as you to prepare and consider, prepare for the day's work and consider what God might be calling you to before you're even conscious of it. This is, in part, what it means to be one who pays attention. I hope that this chapter is encouraging to you, and also I hope you begin to see how the rest of this book is going to take shape as we see the importance of the hours and the way that they hit in this cyclical nature, day by day by day by day, which reminds us of the various aspects of God as we move in and out of this faith journey that we're a part of. I've got some questions. They're posted to the right of this video if you're looking online. If you're looking on your phone, they're going to be posted below the video. You'll also see that there is a comment section. You're welcome to place your comments there. I saw that Patricia Bassett placed a comment. I was really grateful for that. I know that you have to sign in the first time, but after that, you can comment and respond to each other. Also, let me know if you're following along. I have no idea who all is following along with these videos and with this study, but I hope that you're enjoying it as much as I am. And thank you for joining me as we go along for the ride. Now here in chapter 2, the vigils, I want you to think about how your story has been shaped by your history, but also how God has been working historically in you and in your family and preparing you for what is next, preparing you for things that you're not even yet awake to or aware of. I think that is a proper thing to ask in the spirit of the vigils. That said, blessings. Grayson, do you want to stand up and say goodbye? Grayson's my helper again today. You may hear him kind of bumping around. Grayson, will you go push that red button? And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.